The P-59 Aerocomet was the very first jet aircraft produced for the United States, and it was kept top secret during its development. Because it was so quiet compared to propeller planes, pilots sometimes wore gorilla masks or smoked pipes while flying to mess with people who saw them. It wasn't actually a great fighter because it wasn't much faster than the piston planes of the time, but it gave American pilots their first taste of jet engines and paved the way for everything else. Next, we have the P-80 Shooting Star, which was the first truly successful American combat jet. It was designed in record time by the famous Skunk Works team in just 143 days. It looked like something from a sci-fi movie back then with its sleek, smooth lines. It ended up setting a world speed record in 1947, hitting over 623 miles per hour. While it missed most of World War II, it became a workhorse during the early days of the Korean War, proving jets were the future. The F-84 Thunderjet was built to be a rugged, heavy-hitting fighter bomber. It wasn't the most agile plane in the sky, but it could carry a huge amount of ordnance for its size. It's actually famous for being the first jet to use mid-air refueling, which changed how the Air Force thought about long-range missions. Because it was so heavy, it needed a lot of runway to get into the air, earning it the nickname the Ground Hog. It really excelled at ground attack roles throughout the 50s. The F-86 Sabre is probably one of the most famous jets ever made. It was the first American fighter to use swept wings, which allowed it to fly much faster without losing control. It became a legend in the skies over Korea during the first ever large-scale jet dogfights. Pilots loved it because it was easy to fly and very responsive in a fight. Even though it didn't have radar-guided missiles yet, its agility and heavy machine guns made it a dominant force for many years. As the Cold War ramped up, the F-89 Scorpion entered service as a dedicated interceptor. It was a massive twin-engine jet designed specifically to stop enemy bombers from reaching American soil. It was unique because it carried a huge pod of rockets in its wingtips instead of guns. Most famously, it was the only aircraft to ever fire a live nuclear air-to-air rocket during a test. It was a heavy, stable platform meant for all-weather flying using its advanced radar systems. The F-100 Super Sabre marked a massive milestone as the first American jet capable of exceeding the speed of sound in level flight. It kicked off what was known as the Century series of fighters. It had a very distinctive flat oval-shaped nose intake that made it look a bit like a vacuum cleaner. While it was originally a fighter, it spent most of its career as a ground attack jet in Vietnam. It was fast and loud, and it showed just how quickly jet technology was moving in the 50s. Often called a missile with a man in it, the F-104 Starfighter was all about pure speed. Its wings were so thin and sharp that ground crews actually had to put covers on them so they wouldn't get cut while working on the plane. It could fly at twice the speed of sound and climb almost vertically. However, it was also very difficult to fly, which made it a bit controversial. Still, its futuristic looks and incredible performance made it a staple for many different air forces around the world. The F-4 Phantom II is a true multi-service icon used by the Navy, Marines, and the Air Force. It was a massive two-seat jet that relied on its two powerful engines to push it through the air. Initially, it didn't even have a gun because engineers thought dogfighting was a thing of the past and missiles were all that mattered. They eventually realized they were wrong and added one back. It became the primary fighter for the US throughout the Vietnam era and stayed in service for decades. The A-6 Intruder was a dedicated carrier-based attack plane designed to fly in any weather, day or night. It had a very blunt, rounded nose to house a massive radar system, giving it a unique look compared to sleek fighters. It carried a crew of two sitting side by side, which helped them manage the complex navigation and bombing systems. It wasn't fast and it didn't have guns, but it could carry a terrifying amount of bombs and deliver them with incredible precision for its time. The F-111 Aardvark was a bit ahead of its time with its swing wing technology, which allowed the wings to move back for high speed or forward for landing. It was the first plane to use terrain-following radar, which let it fly at high speeds just above the treetops to avoid detection. While it had a rocky start, it eventually became one of the most effective long-range strike planes in history. It also featured an escape capsule where the entire cockpit would blast away from the plane in an emergency. Famous for its role in pop culture, the F-14 Tomcat was the Navy's premier carrier-based interceptor for years. Like the F-111, it had wings that could sweep back during flight. It was designed specifically to carry the massive Phoenix missile, which could hit targets from over 100 miles away. Its advanced radar could track 24 targets at once, making it a flying command center. It was a big, complex aircraft that required a lot of maintenance but offered unmatched protection for the fleet. The F-15 Eagle is widely considered the greatest air superiority fighter in history, with a combat record of over 100 kills and 0 losses. It was built with a huge amount of power, allowing it to accelerate while climbing straight up. It has a massive wing area that gives it incredible maneuverability despite its large size. It was designed with the philosophy of not a pound for air to ground, focusing purely on winning dogfights, though later versions became excellent bombers as well. While the F-15 was the heavy hitter, the F-16 Fighting Falcon was designed to be a smaller, more affordable multi-role fighter. It was the first plane built to be aerodynamically unstable, using a computer-controlled fly-by-wire system to keep it flying straight. This made it incredibly nimble in a turn. It features a bubble canopy that gives the pilot a perfect view all around the aircraft. Over time, it evolved from a simple day fighter into one of the most versatile jets used by dozens of countries. The F-22 Raptor changed the game by introducing stealth and supercruise to the air-to-air fight. It was designed to be invisible to radar and able to fly faster than the speed of sound without using afterburners. Its engines use thrust vectoring, which means the exhaust nozzles actually move to help the plane turn even tighter. It is so advanced and packed with sensitive technology that the US government has never allowed it to be sold to any other country, keeping it as an exclusive American asset. Finally, we have the F-35 Lightning II, which is the most advanced multi-role fighter in the world today. It's designed to replace several different older planes across the Air Force, Navy, and Marines. It functions like a flying supercomputer, gathering data from all over the battlefield and sharing it with other friendly units. It can even take off and land vertically in some versions. While it's stealthy, its real power comes from its sensors, allowing it to see and destroy targets before they even know it's there.